Welcome back, humans! What's going on? It is part 2 of daily number 697, where we learn to be a better gamer despite those error noises. So, in part 1 we got the chance to see a very funky looking play from soO. Fast 3 base with ling speed and almost no lings into suddenly maximum aggression. But by walking through it a little bit at a time, we saw that it makes such beautiful sense. In this game, we're going to watch a match on Heavy Rain, not necessarily focusing more on one player or another in the opening. But we're going to see sort of how these different philosophies intersect. Life on the defensive front, and soO on the offensive front, on the attacking front. And as Chad is noting, I probably would be really good in an MMA fight. I think I'm pretty beefy, and I'm really good at punching. So these two skills combined, I think, would certainly make me UFC. I don't know. I guess right now I'm a heavyweight champ, but once I lose some weight, I might be a middleweight champion. That's pretty cool. Maps Heavy Rain, blah 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 blah. You'll hear me say this phrase a lot when I'm looking at aggressive builds. You have to invest so much in doing something aggressive that unless it deals damage, you've come out behind just by virtue of selecting it. We're going to see soO show a way in which you can use this aggression to deal a very difficult to see kind of damage that is very much so damageful. soO is going to opt to get his early extractor to get his fast ling speed after having gone for a straight fast hatch. Now, soO is very pleased to see a slightly delayed but still present hatchery. He's going to dip in here to see gas or no gas, and he sees no gas. None at all. This is where soO triggers Death Assault. 4 lings and speed come out right away, 2 queens and all kinds of drones. We're going to speed it up a bit. Life is going to be going for his many queen opening. We see that there is 2 queens being produced. Therefore, 2 will be at the front, 1 will be at the back. We see an instant spine crawler and a very funky move. A near instant hatch. I mean, the hatch has been in production for almost 20 seconds. This is built at the 5-minute mark. Last game, this went down at the 6-minute mark. soO knows he's safe. Why? Because he has earlier zergling speed. The drone count is not as high as last game. It was 32 in the last game, but we still see the same basic rule in action. When this hatch goes down, only ling production begins. And this isn't Baneling Nest at all. Notice, no frickin' banelings, no guys into gas. We talked about the clash of philosophies. We see Life has constructed himself a very juicy amount. Those first 4 lings still do the same wonderful wubulous journey, getting deep into the main. Scouting everything that could be going on. Sorry for the clankling ice. I like ice in my water. I hear it increases my weight loss, so I'm just doing it. And here is the moment where, by and large, I think we would call this attack from soO a failure. Let's look in the unit count. 37 drones for Life, and in production, we see all the juicy bits. 2 evolution chambers, 2 extractors. We see 24 drones for soO, and in production, just really this 3rd hatch. What's a soO to do? Well, don't worry, we're just going to watch this game and I'm going to show you. soO actually just keeps pounding it, man. soO is still making lots of zerglings, which seems totally insane to me. But there's some brilliant, subtle stuff coming up. As a very obvious cue, no 3rd, alright, cool, soO has a lead in that. But another thing to note, by continuing to build quite a lot of lings, here's an important question. When is my enemy getting a roach warren? I want to make sure that I don't suddenly have a bunch of roaches popping up out of nowhere and killing me. Roaches roast the zerglings and banelings. in those small number pre-layer fights. So I don't want roaches just popping up out of nowhere. But another cute little trick that we gain is that on almost every map, it requires 3 of these 3x3 structures to get a nice choke formed. So the roach warren will naturally go down at the front. Just by virtue of us building a lot of zerglings with speed and being aggressive with them, we will get to see when that roach warren goes down at the front. And we see Life even walling himself in as well. We will get to see if 2 Evo chambers are rippling or just 1. We will get to see if this roach warren is rippling for a roach speed upgrade. We get to see all the key cues of when his tech is done, when his tech is starting, what tech he's starting when. We get all that just by building a lot of lings. Because players, oh my god, all the hardcore players love to be efficient, don't they? It would be silly to build 2 Evos and a roach warren at the front, and then 2 Evos and a roach warren in the back, and research out of those ones. And it would be shitty. It's true, you do not want to double up on structures to surprise him, because you will just have sabotaged your pace of gameplay. We get to see everything just by virtue of building lings. Beautiful, beautiful move. So what is a soO to do? Well, we talked about this a little bit in the previous game. If our opponent is going 2 hatch and we're going 3, we have more larvae than he does, so we have more flexibility to catch up. We're going to be just briefly glancing up at this top side, and we're going to see those production amounts just soar up. All drones all the time. Now, Life is doing a super clever maneuver. Life says, alright, well, normally I would be devoting my gas to getting these upgrades and to going roaches. That's the usual maneuver. But my layer's quite a ways behind. The layer still has, 40 seconds to go. Roach speed, now that it's done, we see takes 110 seconds. It would be almost 3 minutes of time to get roaches with speed up in order to apply pressure. So here's where Life actually does a surprise move that I think is so sexy. He just begins to flood lings with speed. Like mass lings with speed. Look at this drone count. Uh-oh, soO's about to get even with Life in the drone count. Overlord's being spread around for soO, nice and far away. Where is it? There it is. Nice and far away to make sure that they can't get sniped down. We see, oh, soO got the chance to see the ripple of the Evo chambers. How divine. soO gets his 2 Evo chambers up as well before even planting a roach warren. Almost has the drone lead, continuing to produce drones. So good. There's the ripple beginning on the glial reconstitution upgrade. He knows something's going down. The instant he sees that, soO pulls back to this rock tower. Bringing it down to 10 life, seeing the hatch, and suddenly soO's like, wait a minute, what are all those slowlings doing there? He knocks these down, heads back home to his main base, trying to protect that. And here's where I want to note some just absolute, stunningly sexy cleverness that we're going to see out of our good friend, actually just both of them. This is really cool. Okay. Oh my god, the cats are hissing at each other. The cats are the star of Daily 697. Oh my god, they're chasing each other everywhere. This is terrifying. Okay, so what? In Life's position, Life is likely thinking, he might have more minerals than I do, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty damn sure I have more gas than he does, at least. I think it's a fair assumption. So we're going to see Life use a lot of gas-focused tactics in order to stay ahead in this game. We're also going to see soO do some very sexy mass linging, because soO also would like that aggressive advantage. So rather than flooding a whole lot of roaches upon seeing these lings, he's flooding a whole boatload of lings upon seeing these lings. This is, I would describe as a very, very even game. He's not even going to try to rely on roaches. In fact, he doesn't even have the roach warren done. We see Life, who's suddenly emerged with 40 lings, not only still has to stay on the defensive side of things, but also now has to worry about massive Zergling counterattacks. Yuck. soO sends the Overseer in just to do some inspection. Oh, look, some units. So now in this position, Life does a normal play. He gets the missile attacks. Great. He's going to be getting the +2, the Carapace. Great. He also needs to get some drones. So while those drones are researching, he spends gas on Tunneling Claws and gas on Burrow. Oh, how the tactics are going to emerge in this soO stance. We see a lot of rotation with these lings, and everything's pretty dang even. Pretty dang even. More lings for soO, more roaches for Life, a little bit of an upgrade lead for Life, a little bit of a... Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty dang even. So now what we get to do for the remainder of this game is talk about just the sexiest tactics ever. Here's a hatch going down. Extra hatch for extra macro. So here's, I think, a phase in the game where most people are just like, oh god, kill me now. This is just the worst. But Life just, oh, by rushing for all the Burrow, do-do-do-do-do. Unburrow, surprise, baby! Killing things off here, retreating this way. Run, 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 run as fast as you can. Run, 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 quickly. Get 2 in the main Burrow and spread out. Oh yeah. At the same time, Life is able to mount these sorts of huge attacks. What's really cool is that if you both have roach speed, you can retreat with no penalty. He can't magically catch up and take down one of your units. You're both the same speed. Only if he has a whole bunch of lings is that going to matter. And these ling counts are going to plummet quickly. But these little Burrow maneuvers, their value gets maximized by the fact that Life is doing these huge attacks at the front. So suddenly, surprise. He's going to begin taking out a whole lot of dronies. Is there a roach here yet? No, I think more roaches from Life wind up in the expansion. Oh yeah, here it is. Moving down to the bottom side. They actually move quite quickly. I mean, just a couple of roaches have killed 9 workers, which is a lot. And, most importantly of all, Life has secured himself another base. He's also getting a macro hatch. Just gorgeous, gorgeous play here by Life. Gets himself into a rather ugly position, and takes what might be considered a not-so-great engagement. What might be unlikely to be a win, but almost certainly a trade at best. And takes opportunities to continue to harass with these early guys. Being really, really annoying with those. So we see all in all, 9 workers still killed off. It's going to go up to 12 soon enough. And another expansion is down. How wonderful. So there's this, I think, one of the most upsettingly hard parts of this position is that both players are going to be building lots of roaches. And what you'd like to see is a transition out of roaches. The game's been happening at a pretty fast clip. We've been seeing big battles every few minutes, at least. So when would you have ever had time to get up an infestation pit? How do you get up an infestation pit now? This move looks weird, by the way, where you knock down the rocks and then kill this, but keep in mind that if Life ran up, soO could kill off the rocks and it would fall on these roaches and deal massive damage. Runs up here again, and I think that we see this roach unburrows. Yep. Starts to do a little hurting. Life does have this upgrade lead and is leveraging it as best he can. And we see trickles of drones here. Both players kind of would like to get up infestors, but they can't quite. So Life is basically saying, alright, we're going to be mining out on mains, so I'm going to slowly bolster this expansion. Still has a little bit of a drone lead. And Life elects to take this infestation pit. Now, what's the big danger if you're going for infestors? Right before the infestors pop out, you die. So life continues to maintain the pressure, attacking over here, which is great because this is the farthest possible location movement-wise for this base, where he's establishing spine crawlers. There's this weird paradoxical problem where early on you want more drones so you can have more economy to out-roach them. But once the armies get maxed, if you have fewer drones, you will have more roaches, as we can simply see in this diagram, 67 to 59. So in these positions where you've established the drone lead, building spine crawlers is really, really important. Super incredibly so. And life takes, again, what could be considered a little bit of an awkward engagement. Manages to successfully just rock one concave on the right and do okay, or excuse me, rock this concave on the left side and do okay on the right side. Both of them just holding the R button. And then just continues with these counterattacks that are rather sexy. All the while buying himself time to get this expansion established, to transfer drones away, harassing in multiple points thanks to Burrow tech. And life just has like a really, really good vision control. I mean, look at that vision control. I mean, both players have really good vision control, but life's is clearly superior. So still building nothing but roaches. When is the time to get infestors up? Very soon. This fourth base provides a nice little opportunity to. So life has set himself up nicely as the aggressor. Having the aggressor role when both of you are basically even is just wonderful. Even moves like this are wonderful because you say, oh, well, I'll just make this battle take as long as possible and push more aggressively on this top side. If your opponent has more units in one location, just run. And if that necessarily means he'll have to have fewer units wherever you would like to go attack. Still nothing but roaches getting constructed. Life still using these small break-off forces to be very, very annoying. And we finally get the chance to see pathogen glands beginning to go. And just look at how fragile this transition is. The moment these pathogen glands come up, and the moment these infestors begin to get built, you can just see soO has the opportunity. Why does soO have this opportunity? Because life is pulling all his roaches back. Correctly, I might add. I think that it would be bad for life to lose too many roaches, because life doesn't have any gas to replenish them. I mean, if he loses 10 roaches, he needs a whole bunch of gas to replenish them, which is many, many infestors that he would lose. So in this spot, see, very simple move by soO. Oopsie daisies. Very simple move by soO. He darts down this way, begins to form a concave, which causes life to retreat. As life is repositioning to battle that, soO catches life off guard and heads to the top side. Now, there's two battles happening. One is going on over here that I'm going to ignore. I just want to note that we see barely 50 roaches here. And in this side, we see way more than 50. Life knows that he can only win this with a good engagement. So we'll look at this battle first. Look at life trying to go down. Nope. Nope. Just kill it. Just kill it. Why is this okay for life to do? Well, for one, let's suppose for a moment this is the entire army life had. This is a correct move to do. It's correct to let this die in a bad position just to make sure that life keeps his roach count high, because he can't replenish it easily, remember. But also in this game, life is getting to kill off this expansion, has still killed off way more workers. Just unbelievably good positioning by life. soO's doing his damnedest to stay up. Life just target firing away. And now we have these infestors up. And the game is a little bit more downhill from here. soO, now that soO is clearly behind and is up against a less mobile force, infestors are slower than roaches, now it's up to soO to be the aggressor, to position his dudes in the good spots. And so he will, too, do these little break-off maneuvers. Yeah, there's a small roach force going to the right side. The big roach force going to the left where the new expansion is. Building oh so many new hatcheries. Oh my. Yeah, look at soO doing the Burrow tactics. And Life is just looking for that one magical engagement. The first notable engagement that goes down, Life is likely to win because he has all the infestors. So we see all the small break-off force from soO. You see how the person who has the aggressive opportunity can actually be the one who decides when engagements happen. He with the faster army gets to choose. But now soO's just like, infestors, alright, see you later. Alright, I'm done. soO is now trying to catch up himself and get pathogen glands up. But I just don't think there's nearly enough time. So soO's just going to go for the lair, or excuse me, going to go for the hive to get the upgrades. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. soO continuing to do just strikes on either side, but Life can actually just leave an infestor here or there, and if he does that, he just like will auto-win the game so fast. Such as this. So soO desperately tries to position a couple of roaches back at the backside. Life will just rally to that. And then we're going to watch these supplies go down. 73 and 7 versus just good old 61. Life doesn't even position super aggressively well. Just getting the big fungals off and gets a clean win. And I love this game because not only did it have a lot of action in general, but it showcased two different kinds of openings and where their edges came from. It was the longest game in the series by far. I think it was their first game in the series. And this segment's been lasting for about 24 minutes, so we'll do two hopefully quickish games in the third segment. Because, I mean, I just think that with such a small set of units, lings and queens and roaches, these two players are really a pleasure to watch. When we come back, we're going to see some Mutalisk play from soO, the same aggressive stuff. We're going to see a 6-pool from Life, and then the same aggressive response from soO. Really cool stuff. You know what, I'll do the 6-pool game first, because that's really, really cool. We'll do that in a sec.